jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
to the hottest chat in the MFN game. A-side official. No negotiation needed. Period. You already know. The first in the building. Big blunts and boxing on deck. What it do, man? Salute to you. Mr. Gumbo, a.k.a. Hot Grease. Salute. What's going on, bro? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Gumbo, man, you an older cat in the game like me, man. I gotta put the OG status. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, come on, man, you out there doing your thing, OG. You know what I'm saying? I gotta put you out there, man. Real men need to be considered as that. You know what I'm saying? In the elder generation. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, bro. Smart One, what's good with it? Peace and blessings below. Salute WCS. Certified stamp the like button. Support the grind. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for sure. You know. Arnold Brown on deck. I see you. Good morning, man. Chase Money on deck. Man, y'all already know, man. It's like 50 below zero, you know, down here. You know, times has changed since I grew up as a kid down in the South. Let's get right down to it. I have some very interesting information, of course. I know some people brush my shit off, but yesterday I put it out there. I did. I guess when I put that news out there, the tweet had to come out and say, "Hey, good riddance." They couldn't hold it no more. You know what I'm saying? The goddamn dude be, you know, low crawling through the trenches and talking to people. That's what I put it out there yesterday. The main reason why this shit ain't happening because of what? It ain't no fight schedule out this motherfucker, right? So if you ever want to delay a fight, it's always because of injury. Those of you who've been following the sport long enough, if they want to sit up here in front or use some type of distraction, you know, put it out there just to puppetize the media. It's always they're fabricated with an injury. This is why the fight ain't happening. It's an injury. And they always been doing that. But me, I told y'all, this shit is business. There's a whole lot of shit behind the scenes y'all don't know about with this fight. And I know it wasn't nobody else out here that said anything about it, but it's the business. This fight can't happen. You know what I'm saying? And yes, Errol Spence is fucked up. Yeah. He's not fucked up in the way that he's saying he's fucked up. He's no more fucked up than he was prior to going into that July 29th fight. That is a fact. Y'all niggas can sit up here and believe what you want to believe, but I know what I know. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any freaking common sense to why people making excuses after excuses. Once again, after everything y'all said, leading up to the fight, during the fight, and after the fight, you're in a worse situation than you were before because none of y'all could release the real information. You know, y'all had so much to say about Crawford, but what did Crawford say? What did he just release? Let me put that out there. Hold on for a second. Check this out, y'all. I done heard it all now at Errol Spence Jr. It's okay, though, because all in all, I'm glad it's over and done with. I wish you well, brother. Imagine that. Find me another channel out here that told y'all this shit wouldn't happen because of freaking business. And then they had to come out. They had to come out and say, hey, we need to put that out there. How did he put? Because I was gonna keep on pushing it. This fight ain't freaking happening. This rematch ain't happening because of this right here. It's easy to sit up here and try to puppetize the freaking media again, acting like it's an eye injury and everything else to go along with it, until they get enough time to try to figure it out. They can't figure this shit out. They can't figure it out because Crawford went in there and did too much, man. He did it too easy. He did it too easy. And not to mention, there is some areas of concern when it comes to medically, medical concerns dealing with Errol Spence. Absolutely it is. But anybody in their right mind, I'm talking about with a basic intellect when it comes to this boxing shit, a basic understanding, would know that if you're talking about a fight in a rematch like this that's supposed to be millions, it could have been millions if Crawford would have carried it to the 12th round, all right? If he would have did what Floyd Mayweather did to Marcus Maidana. He carried Marcus Maidana to the 12th round and then made it look easy in the rematch. I'm telling you, that's what he did. But in this particular case, PBC, absent of a network, whatever else is going through with the admin logistics with Amazon Prime, a lot of people are not buzzing about this fight. And there's other issues going on that they know that's a residual effect of whatever Spence got going on. The way Crawford went in there and defeated this guy, Errol Spence, it leaves a lot to question. And I said, I was going through this with my guy the other day, bro. I was running down the whole list of future fights that's coming up. We have Better Be this coming up. We have a fight in Belgium. We have the Zone. We have all this. We don't have no PBC card. We don't have no PBC card. We do not have a PBC schedule. No fight card, no schedule. Why is that? And this is one of those lives where I should be disrespectful. I should be absolutely disrespectful to the cowards who was up here putting this information out, didn't know what the fuck they was talking about. They was sitting up here continuing to talk like it's a gossip show. This what separates the ones who want to believe in the AI, who want to sit up here and fudge everything and say they know everything, but they don't know shit. I told you all yesterday, Crawford released the damn tweet. He said it's been good. Sayonara. Why? Who else told you what I told you yesterday? I told you the shit was over. No fight schedule. Not good for business. Nobody ain't trying to fuck with it. Let me come out here after 6 months. After 6 months, all of a sudden, he want to go to the hospital and prolong a fight that people thought that was closing in. Closing in on a fight camp, on official announcement. They can't do it like they did last year. They can't do it. You know what I'm saying? WCS tried to tell you they can't do it, bro. And though I was gloating in the glory of Crawford defeating Errol Spence, I still am. You know what I'm saying? Though I was running around here enjoying my Chavo, I even played Celebration Time, an old melody that I grew up with. Celebration time, come on. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it was a celebration. But the one thing about it, that celebration, it kind of hurt a little bit, like paper cuts. You know what I'm saying? It kind of hurt a little bit because Crawford went in there and made it look too easy, and that kind of discouraged them from touching this fight the second time around. Why? Because it's not making dollars. Forget cents. It's not making dollars. Nobody believe in putting emphasis in this fight in Vegas and putting it on and spending all that money like before. They ain't believing that shit. They believe Crawford is too dangerous of an opponent again, and it's only gonna get worse for Spence. It's gonna get worse. So he released the damn tweet. I done heard it all now, Spence. It's okay. Though, because all in all, I'm glad it's over and done with. I wish you well, my brother. I told y'all yesterday. And then after that live, freaking, hours later, Crawford put this tweet out there. I mean, I don't think it broke a lot of hearts because they was unsure if the shit was actually gonna take place anyway. But there it is. You don't have to have WCS re-explain it. I told you yesterday on the live that it was business. This fight wasn't gonna happen. This fight isn't happening because of business. Because nobody in their right mind is dumb enough to believe that he had this freaking issue 3 years ago. He had it leading up to the fight with Crawford. Look, he knew the fight was off. Hear me out. Spence knew the shit was off. He knew the shit was off. Because he sat up there and said that they knew the shit before I stepped in the ring July 29th. I had this type of problem before, so it kind of puts it kind of illuminates the Nevada State Athletic Commission in a bad way to approve a fighter that's supposed to have an acute case of cataracts, to approve him to go in there against a dangerous undefeated opponent like Crawford in an undisputed fight for 12 rounds. It's very, very dangerous. I mean, I always look back at Israel Vasquez and how he had, eye issues. You know what I'm saying? To the point where he was in some tough fights, right? And he returned back to the ring too early on some of them fights. And people, I remember back then, they was questioning like, the biggest question is his eye 100%? This is going to be another tough fight for Vasquez, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? He ended up losing that eye when he got out the ring. When he hung up the gloves, he ended up losing that eye, bro. You know what I'm saying? We all remember the Sugar Ray Leonard situation. I mean, there's been plenty of fighters who have fucked up eyes. You would think of Eric Morales. Eric Morales' eye was just like a softball, man. And you say, damn, how can he recover from shit like that? But then you look at Abner Mares. He had a scratch cornea. And, he was supposed to be set to face Gervonta Davis. And it hasn't been the same. You know what I'm saying? Serious. But with Errol Spence situation, I believe that if the cataract situation can occur from an injury, the only injuries that stands out to me to induce that cataract situation will be the car accident. All right? Because it's the same eye. And way back when, I told people from racing motorcycles, right? The amount of people that I've seen die and how they died. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of souls that I've seen pass on motorcycles. You're talking about a guy who used to ride night rides. I don't know, my adrenaline level, whatever, it was different back then. But I remember telling people that I've seen people with helmets and full leather protective riding gear on die. So you're trying to tell me a human being ejected from the top of a car convertible, no seatbelt on, landed on the pavement, he's not going to have injuries? He's not going to sustain concussion, CTE? He's not going to... And it's out there. It's in the catalog. I don't know where the fuck you find it, but it's in my catalog. I said, you trying to tell me he's not going to have soft tissue damage? And guess what? This is considered a soft tissue damage. It's only so much protection, you know what I'm saying, that your skull could give you, right? Only so much pressure that it can take before, you're considered to have brain damage. Then you have to pay attention to the impact, the trauma of him being ejected out the car and hitting the pavement that may and did affect the nerves on the right side of his face and his eye. I mean, that's not far-fetched, is it? Shout out to Boxing Conversation with Reggie Orange. Salute to you, man. How you feeling? Lost all the boxing at LAB. What's good with it, Q? Hope all is well. I'm seeing you in a minute. Hope all is well. Happy New Year's, man. Shout out to Mr. International Toby Bartlett on deck. What did he do there, Toby? He said, salute WCS in the hottest chat on the YTC. We're global, baby. We're global. Yes, sir. Indeed. 402, what's good? Salute WCS team. Crawford predicted everything they said before and after the Spence fight. Why is the country confused with the outcome? Aerosexuals need to accept their levels in this game. Hey, you know, they look, they're not gonna. I'm one of those voices that they not gonna cite me. I've been on record as citing people even if I don't get along with them. It's just a maturity thing. But these cats not built like that. They won't cite you. They won't cite you if they get some information from you. You know what I'm saying? If I get some information from Shaw News, I'll cite him. If I got some information from any of these other cats that we don't see eye to eye, I cite them because professionally that's what you do. But they hear some information like they're not gonna cite it. They're gonna try to come up behind me like they always do. You know what I'm saying? Blue, I'm talking to you. Blue will come up and put some shit out there and won't even cite you. But they know what it is. The ones who's over here listening, they know what it is. I put it out yesterday. I said business-wise, you don't see a motherfucking PBC schedule. We don't know anything about their fight calendar. We don't know anything. Why? Because I said this shit with Amazon Prime is not going to be that bullshit that went on with Showtime and Fox. When you heard all these cowards over here talking so heavy about the black leader, why can they not break information? Why can't you release information? Why don't you know what's going on internally? Why can't you get this popping the way it's supposed to and drop some information nobody else have? If you can't do that, then you need to stop pretending like you know everything and all things that goes on. I don't know everything that goes on in these promotions. But I do know people that's legitimate, tells me all the time shit and have conversations with me behind the scenes about boxing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they know I just don't run out here and need this viewership and subscribers for something. That's not validation to me. But I do like talking to the role players and the hitters. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably, like I said, one of the only ones on here that have talking to one of the hitters. He know who he is. That told me the entire layout of how the Floyd Mayweather situation back then went, with him getting out from Top Rank and going over to freaking Al Heyman. The whole freaking itinerary. I mean, we talked for over 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? 2 hours down here in the A. He told me the whole breakdown. Didn't want to be recorded. I said, cool. I just take it for mental, recall, and we're going about our business. But back to Terrence Crawford, though. Graham, what's good? They trying to sabotage Bud from getting that Canelo payday. What you mean? Can you specify what you mean by that, Graham? What you mean? They trying to sabotage Bud from getting that. What you mean? Talk to me. What you mean? Jay on deck. What's good? Damn, man, I hope this is what Crawford is saying after this contract. No. Look, they both in the contract. But you have to understand, if a fighter is incapable of fulfilling his contractual obligations, I'm sure the way Crawford does business and his legal team, that there's a time limit. If that fighter who enacted that 30-day rematch to fight on a future date, and he's incapable, he's physically, mentally incapable of fighting the actual winner in a timely manner, I'm pretty sure there's some language in the contract that allows, Spence to release that. He's done. He's separated himself from being a participant anymore, and it allows Crawford to go on and fight somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the same thing that I used to tell people about the supposed Deontay Wilder 100 million fighting Dominique Breazeale and fighting Anthony Joshua. No, this is somewhat similar. It wouldn't have went down the way you think. It wouldn't have went down the way you think. So when we look at this right here, you have to pay attention to PBC not having a motherfucking fight schedule. You have to understand that boxing is a business first. Why do people say that shit all the time? And then they act like they don't know what it is when it comes to a situation like this. Business still playing a significant role. Since a certain individual basically fumbled the business, and it was all good in the beginning, overpaying fighters. And I've heard certain people that consider themselves to be in the game that say, isn't that what we in the business for, to pay the fighters? And then Rick Glaser told him, that's the difference between you and I, the Republican Democrat mentality. You know what I'm saying? You think overpaying the employee is what you need to do, when you should focus on the business. You know what I'm saying? Because the business has to run in order for the employee to get paid. And when, we're talking about PBC overpaying, their employees early on, but now they are not worth all that money. They're not getting paid the same paycheck. The whole purpose is to what? Continue to increase what your worth is, your Wall Street, your stock. You want that to continue to increase. If you blew through money and it pretty much influenced Showtime and the networks to divorce, then it's going to be difficult for you to come in there with new rules, new structures, a new decree. You have a new decree. Your vows are different. And these type of vows ain't the vows you had when you was with Showtime. People are not running amok doing what the hell they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Blowing through money on a budget. We don't even see anything out here about Tank. They supposed to have a fight card in March. We haven't heard anything. Let's get back to this Terrence Crawford eulogy. All right. So as you all know, man, what we absolutely witnessed last year was incredible. It was legendary. And that's why I had to put Terrence Crawford in here when he's standing on the apron. And all the cameras, see, I can relate to that shit. Look at that. That's legendary right there. Look at M over there. Look at M over there on the sideline. One legend to another. Look at that shit, man. That's legendary. Look at them taking pictures of history, man. Crawford has a fishing net draped over his left shoulder. He's coming in here to basically catch the fish that they said was all of that. They said this was the guy. This man comes in here and stands on the apron with a fish net on his shorts. He has an actual fish net literally hanging off his shoulder. He's ready to go in here and catch this fish. This is a legendary picture right here. Legendary. You know what I'm saying? Legendary. Crawford going in this match, man, we can talk about this shit for days, man. Like I said, I always look back at the YTC on how many relationships was burned to the ground, destroyed, severed, all because it's supposed to be boxing talk. When these cats on here learn how to talk boxing and know how to communicate with somebody that's talking boxing, and even if it's disagreements, continue to have a decent rapport, it'll be a better place on the YTC. But a lot of these cats are not at the age right now where they can have a disagreement. I mean, I'm talking about a vigorous disagreement with somebody without getting personal and want to talk shit about them and all that, And this guy right here, single-handedly, along with his team, but I'm talking about as a fighter, Bud Crawford single-handedly destroyed an entire fan base and his fighter. Destroyed him. I don't think I've ever witnessed this The amount of years I've been covering boxing, I don't think I've ever seen it. Now, it leads to question how strong Errol Spence fan base was from the beginning. I have to always make that assessment. Like I tell people all the time, it's certain medical, you know what I'm saying, assessments that's outside my qualification. But when you're talking about cereal box qualifications, cutting out the shit on the back and sending it in and getting it back next week, and you're approved to be a neighborhood doctor, you know what I'm saying, a trap doctor, then I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. You get a freaking VIP cereal box sent in the mail with your jacket in it too, in plastic. You get the crumbs off that bitch and put it on. You look just like an MD. I'm telling you. But Crawford single-handedly broke down an entire fan base. But in the process of doing what the damage that he inflicted, not on only the fighter, but on the betting odds. You know what I'm saying? The betting odds. The fighter himself, his fan base, managers, promoters. There's a lot of people that Crawford affected. One of the biggest power moves in boxing in decades. For real, this is. You may not see it that way. I don't really care what you say. This fight right here, though we have joked around and we've argued and fussed and feuded over what was expected to happen on July 29th. What led up to that after all these years, we have all these little inconsistencies, these injuries, these microcosms that motherfuckers want to bring up. We're talking about a fighter who was the man with the press conference. So for the first press conference, the first two press conferences, I'm talking about the primary, the first one in Beverly Hills, the second was in NYC, but the first press conference, Spence walking around just fine. He shadow boxed right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I got him and Crawford shadow boxing when they walked through on the red carpet and they stopped and turned around and shadow box. He shadow boxed just fine. I remember hearing knockdown 68 pager over there laughing, talking about Crawford looks like Spence's little brother. You know, people was just giggling their ass off. But as a person that's been around the sport, I'm saying, listen, are y'all forgetting they have to make weight? I'm looking at Crawford as somebody that's ahead of schedule. He's not as big. He's never overweight, deconditioned. He always stay close to a facility. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure when he punching his passport, he's going to drop in somewhere and get a workout in. That's just the way it is. When you're mentally there, you know what I'm saying? You're driven off a different type of fuel, right? Your motivation is different to be the best, the greatest. As you got Errol Spence. Errol Spence was big. When I saw him and Crawford face off, I said, damn, Errol Spence right now look like he's like 190. You know what I'm saying? He looked big. But I always said to myself, he got to drop weight. I said in reflection, I said, Crawford said when I beat him, they're going to say he was weight drained, he stayed in the division too long. I have to commend him for being the Nostradamus from Omaha, Nebraska, because he predicted that shit A1, day one. A1 from day one, Crawford predict that they wouldn't give him credit because they would have said Spence was weight drained and stayed too long. And I'd be damned that these puppets didn't pick up that shit, and that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. Look at this now. I know some of you all was here. This is epic. And yes, I had to be petty and put the snack system up there. This is epic right here, bro. I cannot say this enough, how proud and how thankful I am for being in this era where I'm young enough to look at this in a way that I can appreciate history. You know what I'm saying? What Crawford was able to do on this day, man, was game changing. It's game changing. It may not have broken Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view records and all that. You know, they always have this stigma that two black fighters in the ring, it's not going to do that much money. But this was epic. Do y'all understand? This fight right here was epic. The activity that we witnessed when the first opening bell rung was life changing. It was legendary. For 2 pound for pound fighters, after 5 years of back and forth, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of live streams, thousands of debates, you know what I'm saying? Millions of arguments. You know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on and on when they was talking about these two black fighters stepping in the ring, man. All the who haven't did what. I'm thinking, you know, Crawford, of everything that he says that he always had to consistently prove himself in boxing, I get it, man. I mean, that was a heavy-ass load to be carrying around with people underestimating, devaluing who you are as an elite fighter. Even though you've wore the t-shirt before it's undisputed, they was like, you ain't fight nobody to get undisputed. Julius Ndongo, he ain't shit. Regis stopped him in 2 rounds. Crawford, you stopped him in 3 rounds. So they was trying to imply that Ndongo, just because Regis stopped him in 2, he wasn't shit. Even though Ndongo was undefeated when Crawford beat him. You know what I'm saying? So when all these freaking achievements started to come out, Crawford was getting minimal to just basic credit because he was making it look too damn easy. And to be honest with you, you can train next to a legend. That doesn't mean you can perform like one. There's many tweets that Crawford put out there. And one, he mentioned, I haven't had no close fights. I haven't had no close fights. Even the Jose Benavidez fight. They love to talk about one leg. The dude went into the 12th round and Crawford stopped him. That doesn't mean it was close. That means it would have went to the scorecards and Benavidez would have lost. Because nobody's gonna fake and pump fake and, you know, sell wolf tickets talking about if it would have went to the scorecards, it would have been a draw. Nobody was saying that shit. Crawford was clearly winning. But you gotta check out the fine details of the night in question, man. One of the most epic nights in boxing, when we're talking about building up a rival of 2 pound for pound fighters outside the ring. Usually that rival starts from the first time or the first bout that they have between one another. This began amongst the community. This began off paperwork. People was reading back and forth each other's paperwork. They was basically infatuated with the award system. They felt that Errol Spence in the welterweight division, his awards superseded that of Crawford. You know, that's what they believed. And when this started playing out on July, just look at Spence. This is what it all came down to. Just look at this picture. Especially you aerosexuals out there. You look and make sure you put your glasses on. I know why you don't like this man so much. Because he shattered your dreams and broke your pockets like he did so many others. It wasn't like it was intentional. But when y'all call that man a slave and call him top-ranked Toby, you forget that's kind of the same language y'all oppressors did. Did you forget that maybe you was building up more motivation for him to go in here and carry out what he did? Did you think about that? No, y'all didn't think about that. Look at Spence looking up at Crawford. Imagine what his inner thoughts. Imagine what his introspective was after the fight. Imagine what conversation he was having with self. Look at him. Look at this right here. Look at him. He's trying, though. Look at Errol Spence's face. Crawford skill set levels above a pound for pound fighter in his own division who was there prior to Crawford getting his championship against Jeff Horn. Errol Spence was already in that division. Spence was already in that division. I remember Spence being up there calling out Keith Thurman. I want to fight Keith Thurman, this, that, and the other. Okay. I remember all the talk that Spence was the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember when it was word out that he was going to start to really, attach himself to Jerry Jones. So that's when the people for the first time seen Jerry Jones step in the ring at the Carlos Ocampo fight when they was in Frisco. I wish that fight would have went a little bit longer, but he stopped Carlos Ocampo in the first round. And then with no pay-per-views and none of that shit, he went into the stadium with Mikey Garcia. And that right there, that one fight in Frisco, that started the hoopla. You know what I'm saying? That started the how they was boosting them up. That's when the inflation started with Errol Spence Jr. off Carlos Ocampo. And then Mikey Garcia. But if they really would have been paying attention, the Mikey Garcia exposed Errol Spence. Because they was thinking he was this killer, he was this hitter, and he can just run through. He just had pressure, and he was running through. He didn't run through Mikey Garcia. So it's hilarious when they come up with all these storylines as to how he still was successful. Yeah, he was successful. But we're talking about a guy coming up 2 weight classes. Stop it. Just like Cass said, stop it. That isn't true. If it was, I would tell you that's not true. Stop it. Look, I'm being honest. This picture, these frames right here are brutal. Who does that to EJ? Who else did that to EJ? When he was landing these punches, those punches was being felt by the fans from afar and near, y'all. This man changed boxing life as we know it right now. He beat up a pound for pound fighter. He changed how people looked at. He changed how his people in his hometown, his footprint, you know what I'm saying, his home of residence, changed how they freaking fuck with him. Because if I'm looking at the pictures like this, he's looking at the pictures too. Look at that shit, yo. Look at that. Surgical. I could be petty and say, he touched him in that right eye. Why was Errol Spence able to land his jab so effectively? I meant to say, why wasn't he able to land his jab so effectively on Terrence Crawford? Why? Why couldn't he have a counter? He's a southpaw. Why wasn't he able to land that educated jab on Crawford? Why are all these frames out here of Crawford having extreme success, landing accurate, punishing shots on Errol Spence? Look at this picture, y'all. Who do you know have softened and tenderized Errol Spence's face like that ever? Just think about how people were looking and paying attention to this fight all for the wrong reasons. They seen Spence getting beat up. But when you never had confidence on the fighter that was actually beating him up, you're going to have self-doubt. You're going to start second-guessing yourself. You're going to start coming up with lies. Now you're going to the dark side of being a maniacal individual. Now you want to say, okay, let me create and falsify all these lies. Let me run a smear campaign on this guy. Because what you looked at, you couldn't even believe yourself. How can a fighter like Crawford, who they say haven't fought nobody, how can this guy right here, how can Diddy James underestimate how can you underestimate? You're trying to tell me as a trainer who received an award there, Diddy James, You couldn't properly assess imminent danger. You couldn't assess how skilled Terrence Crawford was before you stepped into this fight. Real talk, he is to blame too. When you are getting these awards, I'm talking about globally, this award is freaking resonating globally. You are supposed to be separated from other trainers. But when you have intelligent-minded individuals who's already been there, done that, Bomac exposes you because he totally understands what you haven't been doing over there. Like, I don't know if it's a machismo thing with Diddy James to say, I don't watch film. I don't know if that's actually true, but when this ass whooping started to play out, it almost looked like you didn't watch film. You know the fucked up part about it, Diddy James? If you didn't watch film before, while you underestimated Crawford and say he ain't fought nobody, and you wanted to talk about Bomac's weight, I guarantee you, and I'm not sure how much longer you got in the sport, because it's been rumored that Ryan Garcia is supposed to be your last fighter. And you know what? That only proves that Crawford not only retired Spence, but he retired his trainer too. Because how are you going to sit up here and say that Ryan Garcia is going to be your last fighter? I know y'all don't look at it the way I do with the effect that Crawford had by beating Spence, but this was supposed to be the fight of all fights. This is supposed to have been the fight of the year. This is supposed to have been the creme de la creme, mano y mano, punch for punch, tit for tat. This was supposed to be legendary. This was, you know, you remember. You remember what Spence put out there? I want to go 15 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Leonard Hagler. That's what I want. Leonard Hagler. I want to go 15 rounds. How you want to go 15 rounds and you can't get out the ninth? Who does that? See, when I made this thumbnail right here, I spent, you know what I'm saying, I dimmed the lights a little bit and I tried to picture, you know what I'm saying, I try to use my thought process to figure out what could these two individuals be thinking. When I seen Diddy James looking at his fighter, a direct reflection of his negligence and dereliction of duty, I had to think to myself why he was as mad as he was. You know what I'm saying? Why was he looking at Errol Spence with that glowering look? What was going on? What were they thinking? You know what I'm saying? And at first when I did this live, I say, damn, no, Diddy James is looking at him in disgust. But also Diddy might have been in shock himself on how Errol Spence is making him look as a trainer. He might have said, I did put up with some bullshit from Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? It's probably some shit in training that, you know, went on between these two. Real talk. It's probably some shit that they don't want to talk about. But for a fighter to be looking at a battered and bruised pupil of his and to have a look like that, it's almost like that's guilt both ways. He himself is in shock that Errol Spence is a direct reflection of him, and he went in there and got destroyed. It was nothing that he can say to Spence in that corner that could have turned the tide to get Spence to take over the momentum so they won't have this moment right here. Look at what he's looking at Spence. Spence is sitting up there. He's still loopy. He's thinking of that moment in Omaha when he said, on God, he ain't going to stop me. On God. Well, I don't know what God he was talking about. I don't know if it was God spelt backwards. I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that he wasn't talking about a spiritual one. He might have been talking about a little puppy. Because when it came down to that night right there, Diddy James was staring at that man with a vengeance. Like, look at that. Look at it. Red flag right there. I told people the 2 years that they wasn't talking to each other, they can't make that up. That's still with them today. The arrogance, the ego of both of these fighters together exploded. And usually when you have an explosion there, fight fans, it's supposed to affect in a radius of those who are your adversaries, especially in the art of war and combat. This was one of those. Them together, the only one that was supposed to be affected was Crawford. And then outside of that effect, the residual of Bomac, Red Spikes, Esau, it's supposed to affect them. But this explosion was internal. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you have Diddy James looking at Spence, who's obviously been beat up unlike he ever experienced in his career. And Diddy James probably thinking to himself, God damn it, Bomac was right. Because look at this. Errol Spence was supposed to be with Diddy James for like 15 years, right? Look at his face. He's never seen EJ get beat up like that. It took me a little bit of time to think about this. I had to stare at this thumbnail and say, you know, Diddy James in shock because he's never seen EJ beat up like this. But the person who did it beat up Diddy James too, because Diddy didn't have a motherfucking care in the world. He didn't believe. Everybody who would listen, he'd say he ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. He wanted to talk about his trainer's weight. He wanted to talk about all that. He wanted to be insulting. They totally underestimated Team Crawford. So I'm thinking, you know, Diddy James looking at Errol like, damn, I never seen this nigga look like this, period. I never would have thought Crawford would be the one who do it, who provide him the costume. I never thought Crawford would give him the costume. This is July 29th. Halloween is in October. Crawford beat the brakes off Spence. Crawford influenced the look from Diddy James to stare at his fighter like this. Think about that shit. Think about the history of this fight, bro. Think about this shit. Terrence Crawford making history as the first two-time undisputed world champion in men's boxing. And look at this shit, bro. Look at the company. When you do it the first time, that means a lot. Look at the company that he's in. Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor, Alexander Usyk, Josh Taylor, Canelo Alvarez, Jamel Charlo, Devin Haney, and Naoya Inoue. And of course, this is an older screenshot. Inoue is also, but we're not talking about Inoue. We're talking about Terrence Crawford. Back in August 19, 2017, to the infamous date of 7/29/2023. And now people are fully aware that Crawford, you know what I'm saying, domination of Spence on July 29th could have possibly retired that man. He can get on here like he always been doing and fake it and put these tweets out and tell about, yeah, you can get on with that retirement shit. Yeah, go up here and be a punching bag. Who you gonna fuck up at 154? See, as much as I try to stay off the neck of the voices that was out here calling themselves advocating for you, Spence, I know you learned something. You never should have let them be out here creating these narratives without checking them. You never should have allowed that to happen because it got out of control. So they say, okay, Spence ain't saying anything. Let me continue to ramp it. Let me continue to spice it up just even more and more and come up with more lies. And the only thing they was doing was setting themselves up for the grand finale, baby. They was setting it up for the grand finale. Because they always show you those car commercials when they're testing out these vehicles and they got the crash dummies in there and they pick up a certain speed and they crash into that wall and they show you the effects of that. That's what happened July 29th. Crashed through the wall. You know what I'm saying? All occupants was ejected. All occupants was ejected from the vehicle. And they still trying to figure out how. all the lies that y'all put out there, all the criticism you did of this guy. Who has the last say so? You know what I'm saying? Who stand atop the mountain? Errol Spence will never be on that summit, ever. Thanks to y'all. Thanks to y'all. Because maybe if you would have shut the fuck up, Crawford wouldn't have been so angry going in there and beat that man the way he did. Crawford was so zoned out that he was having a damn sidebar conversation with another undisputed champ, a division higher. When have you ever seen that shit take place in a fight of that magnitude? Never. He was basically beating up two unified champions on the same night, y'all. He was slapping Jermell Charlo around on the sideline while the referee was getting Errol Spence a count. No man has ever did that shit on a fight of that magnitude. And we should be thankful we was able to witness that shit. You know what I'm saying? We should be thankful we was able to witness it. We should be also thankful as content creators that we was actually able to see one of the worst fan bases get destroyed. One of the worst fan bases ever get laid to rest. One of the worst fan bases ever have their memorial service. Done, sir, done. It's over. You can say whatever you want about Crawford, but he's going to get his next fight. See, if y'all would have took notice way back when before he fought Sean Porter, and y'all would have been, able to encourage Diddy James to keep some black media members in the gym, but he didn't want that. He wanted everybody out, and he wanted to have this masterpiece. He wanted to have this masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to kick Blu-ray out the gym because he was doing what a black man's supposed to and put that work in. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to kick ILTBA out. Another black man putting work in. Putting work in. He kicked two primary members out the gym that could have basically changed the way these content creators that were supposed to be hardcore pro Spence content creators. If he just would have showed loyalty and dedication to those guys and allowed himself, just like Deontay Wilder be coming over here speaking to, the LDBC members that he been fucking with for a long time. I'm talking, if Spence would have just said, okay, let me go on here, and talk that shit to these guys. If he would have stayed and gave it an opportunity, then maybe it would have been a little bit different out here to the outside world. But no, he shut the shit down. Diddy James removed any primary media who was black from his establishment once he got his own gym. That was a problem. Because now you don't have anybody that knew Spence way back in the wind that was fucking with him hard. You know what I'm saying? That was in the team. Now you have nobody. Now you just have motherfuckers walking around. Hey, Errol, man, oh, I like your hair. Nice color socks you got on. Wow. What you been doing lately? I see you have a new guinea pig on your ranch. Oh, you bought another horse? Wow. How many is that? That's 3? Wow, you're building up a nice little fleet of horses. Are you going to get something like Canelo? Canelo got the big stallions. You think you're going to get something like Canelo? You maybe should call him up and see can he breed a horse and get you one like his. He got the big ones. Man, come on, bro. You had 2 individuals there that rock with him from the beginning, from the inception of this work. And he blew it, bro. He blew it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember when I put this out, the hottest topic on YouTube, Mortal to Immortal? I put this out before July 29th. Before. See, I wouldn't have really had an issue with saying that his fan base is the worst fan base I ever seen in boxing. But they just gave me more ammunition to basically put it out there and make it official that they are. And I know everybody's going to say, well, not everybody. No, this don't go for everybody. This just goes for the 98.9% of the ones that was on here believing that all the shit they were saying bad about Crawford was going to somehow influence the outcome of the fight. Though Crawford wasn't a big pay-per-view fighter, though he didn't want to engage in the media, as he was coming up, everything happened at a good time and place, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens with a good time and place. Some people blossom later. And I think his media engagement started to happen, increasing his activity, increasing his interviews and stuff like that. It happened at the opportune time when, he was peaking with the media. It happened at the right time, So, for a person who would tell you that he had to always prove himself and people thought that he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that, he would go down in history as having one of the most legendary fights. And, I've heard people say, WCS, that fight wasn't legendary. So it ain't legendary to you because you feel that Errol Spence participation wasn't enough to make it legendary. I'm telling you it's legendary because the so-called underdog from Omaha, Nebraska, the one who I always told people his accolades trumps that of Errol Spence. And when these people got mad and say, don't nobody give a fuck about what he did before 47, how can you say that? He became undisputed. And then you say, oh, he ain't fought. Julius Ndongo wasn't shit. Okay, so we talk about what 47 means to everybody. You talk about him fighting Jeff Horn the first fight. Oh, Jeff Horn wasn't nobody. What about he beat Pacquiao? That was in his hometown. That was a controversy. So he couldn't do shit. Benavidez was hurt. Cal Velasquez almost knocked him out. He was almost dead to rights. What? What about Amir Khan? Oh, man, goddamn Prescott. Come on, did you see it? Canelo. The list goes on and on, buddy. He fought a bum. He has no chin. Damn. Shit. I don't know. I mean, shit. You saying everybody that he done stopped at welterweight division wasn't nobody. I mean, finally he gets a shot. Kell Brook. Oh, man. No, he didn't pick Kell Brook. He ain't the same since Errol fought him. Are you serious? No, he's not the same. No, he ain't the same. Errol fucked his eye up. So let me ask you this question. When did you initially start watching boxing? It don't matter, man. I know Errol fucked his eye up, and because of that, he hasn't been the same since. No, he hasn't fought at 147 since Errol Spence. But when Errol Spence got him, he was already damaged from Gennady. Oh, man, that was a stoppage. Look, this is shit they tell me. This is a TKO stoppage, bro. What does that mean? Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford was a TKO stoppage. But just to think, these cats was up here talking about TKO didn't mean shit when it came to knockouts. Let that sit with you, goddammit. Like a thorn in your ass there, aerosexuals. Y'all was up here saying that the TKOs that Crawford have don't mean shit down a KO. And Ryan Garcia goes in here and gets stopped by Tank Davis by genuflecting on one knee. Once the count was over, he stood up and walked. You trying to say that's much more severe? That just goes to show you a lot of you all don't know shit about boxing. Because I listen to the pro Spence fans say TKOs ain't shit. He ain't knocking out people. He ain't doing what Gervonta Davis doing. He ain't doing what Deontay Wilder is doing. He ain't doing that. He ain't knocking people out. He ain't doing what Anui's doing. That's what they were saying. TKO don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean shit. What about Rolly? They was up here comparing all of Terrence Crawford's opponents as being mediocre opponents. So when he got in there and stopped Sean Porter, what they say? His daddy. Even Errol Spence walked around here looking goofy as hell, trying to explain to people and explain to Mike Tyson, hey, this how you know Diddy James had Anthony Joshua freaking fucking him up and goddamn fucking him up to the body in sparring. They try to cut corners, y'all. Hey, Mike Tyson, I just want to talk to you about what you said about me. This is Mike Tyson now. Mike Tyson could have very well, because Errol was sitting with his right eye in direct, you know what I'm saying, reach of Mike Tyson, right? I'm serious. I pay attention to this shit. And he said, hey, Mike Tyson, I just want to talk to you about what you said to me that, you know, that Crawford beat me. And you look at, you know, his fight with Sean Porter, even his daddy said that he wasn't training right. His daddy said, he said, you know, Mike Tyson started laughing at him. He's a much more calmer Mike now. He said, it's just embarrassing. You don't want to take credit for the fight. It's just embarrassing. Come on, what you're doing is just embarrassing. He was ready. Crawford was just too much of a better fighter. You have the opportunity to prove it to him. July 29th, you're there. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you my care package. Now, you know you have to take a drug test, but all I'm saying is don't take any of the stuff out the care package. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you popping positive. Well, guess what they were saying on Fight Night, y'all? They were saying that Errol Spence fucked up the care package and basically ate all the edibles and smoked all the weed that was in the care package. They was already making excuses because Errol was sitting back there and they was expecting him to be getting slapped around by his trainer, Diddy James, like he was in the open workout doing mitt drills. I remember y'all content creators just out here just making excuses for Spence. Look at this guy, the hottest topic on YouTube. Mortal to immortal, July 29th. That's exactly what happened. Because I've never seen a fighter have that much influence on a fan base, an entire community of boxing. Somebody who was considered not to have the resume. Someone who's considered to be the smaller fighter. Someone who's considered to have the paperwork but not be respected. Do that? How does that even work? Like, you have the paperwork to be on the pound for pound list. You have the accolades. You have the awards. You've beaten former world champions. But when it comes to this fight that everybody's been clamoring for, all of a sudden, they're pushing narratives out here that he ain't fought nobody. He's trash. He ain't fought nobody like Errol Spence. So since they were saying Errol Spence can beat everybody on Crawford's resume, there's no way that Crawford can beat Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? They was like, everybody on Crawford's resume, Errol Spence will fuck up. That was the little cliche terminology these cats was using every debate. If you look at both resumes, Errol Spence can beat everybody on Crawford's resume. And listen, this was before he stepped in there with Kell Brook. Because it would be stupider than once again to say that shit while Kell Brook and Sean Porter's on the resume. So they was talking about everybody on down to Jeff Horn. Errol Spence, he can beat everybody on. Okay. All right. But I'm starting to say to myself, when Bud Crawford made it up to the welterweight division, he has had TKO mania. You know what I'm saying? He has had a TKO mania. He's been stopping dudes. I can't say the same for Errol Spence. The one that was supposed to be the man. See, that shit burned to the ground when Sean Porter exposed him. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter exposed him. But then again, the Errol section, what they say? Oh, man, you know Errol Spence ballooned up in weight. They was up here freaking making up fucking excuses again. Oh, you know he ballooned up in weight, and he said it was tough for him to make weight. He made it tougher on himself to make weight, man. He's going to be much better when him and Crawford fight. The devil is a motherfucking lie. He going to be much better when him and Crawford fight because he going to be much more disciplined. That's a lie. And that a lie. That's a lie again. Y'all was saying that the man was going to be much better. Not the case. See, this is where I point the finger with extended, disjointed elbows. I'm talking about with both motherfucking fingers out. I blame his fan base for sabotaging a fighter who sabotaged himself. Both of y'all was contributors to sabotaging this man's entire career because the content creators were so weak. They couldn't even get to a point where every time they interviewed somebody, it wasn't enough people close enough to him to say, hey, champ, I know you love living out of pocket, but you really should start locking yourself in and be disciplined if you're going to beat Crawford. Nobody told him that. You know what I'm saying, people? They was busy on him talking about Crawford. They knew what danger lied ahead. They knew imminent danger, bro. They knew what the imminent danger was, and these fools out here just continue to talk about the op. They continue to talk. They must have not seen enough monster movies in their lifetime to know you keep on fucking with that, it's going to come to life, nigga. You say TKOs don't mean shit? All right. All right, maybe decapitation does. I don't know. Maybe you haven't watched enough. You haven't freaking binged on scary movies and horror movies before. If you haven't, then guess what? If you want to take yourself through the shock factor on July 29th, purchase your ticket and sit close enough and bring a little mini set of binos so you can get an up-close zoom in and watch it play out for you. And that's exactly what happened to a lot of these aerosexual, these content creators, man. They saw the shit firsthand, and they've been shook ever since. Let me show you something that's wild. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to hearing this news, because I told y'all yesterday that the business ain't right. This shit ain't happening. People don't want to fuck with this fight. So how did they take your mind off of it without people just going crazy? Not having a real reason as to why this fight ain't happening, they come out with injuries. You know what I'm saying? Fake ass injuries. Which the timeline don't make any fucking sense. You had plenty of time to since you get out the ring the 29th of July to get surgery. Especially if you're telling people that you knew about it before then. So once again, that's dereliction of duty on the fighter. That's undisciplined of the fighter. He'd rather punch a passport instead of make a doctor's appointment to get his eye checked out. Now people, they get mad at me and leave all these nasty comments in the DMs. But listen, you have to understand, when you continue to live out of pocket, you shouldn't worry about what Kunta Kinte doing, because the one that's getting beat the fuck down is you. You say you was gonna break him like Kunta, but you broke it. I don't know if it's like Kunta, but it's like somebody out there. The way you being tossed around in the spin cycle, you're the one that's being broken up. You, bro. None of these people can get you to stop acting out of pocket. They couldn't warn you that, hey, this dude on this thumbnail right here is dangerous than you think. Man, nobody could convince this dude that it was danger lying ahead. Nobody can tell him that. Nobody in a sound-minded body could convince Errol Spence to chill and start being locked in. No, he wanted to goddamn continue to go around here and be out of pocket. Busy talking about he was going to break the man like Kunta when he's the one that's getting whipped. He got whipped. You know, as much as I was joking around on that live, that saying that Crawford fucked it up and all that, you know, the real ones know I was just being, you know, I was exaggerating, you know, just ad-libbing a bit. But truth be told, you know, if someone said they was going to break you like Kunta, and trying to say and try to put you once again from Top Rank Toby to you know, breaking like Kunta, and all these people laughing and giggling and shit, and to see it play out like this, to see the shit play out like this, that's how you respond to somebody. That's how you respond right there. When they heard that, you know, Crawford sent this tweet out, It's okay though, because all in all, I'm glad it's over. I'm done with. This all I see, the aerosexuals. They went and got them. You know how you have that freaking meal, you eat dinner after the repast? After a funeral, you go to the repast? That's all I'm saying with these aerosexuals. They going out to eat. Because they been stressed the fuck out. Motherfuckers lost weight. They going out to eat, y'all. They gotta celebrate. That's what I was looking at. They got a full plate of food. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I can goddamn just focus on another fighter right now. I don't think I could have handled it. Mentally, I'm unstable. I couldn't have handled a rematch this year in 24. 23 has been so bad. Just the build up to the fight, watching the fight, and just going through a state of depression. I mean, Crawford fucked up a community, a massive community of boxing fans when he went in there and did what he did. Now they reading this tweet. They all out to eat today. It was the perfect time for Crawford to release this tweet. I put the information out there yesterday to try to let people know, hey, this fight ain't happening because of business. You know, the motherfucker shit that's going on with Amazon. You know, certain people that thought they was rocking and rolling with Showtime and Fox, they can't do that shit with Amazon. You know what I'm saying? They finding out shit ain't easy. But they out there goddamn feeding their face, y'all. I just happened to walk by and snap one of their plates. I say, God damn. I mean, they was going to town. You know what I'm saying? They was drinking sweet tea, goddamn Coke, Sprite, everything. They was happy. They said, I got to get my weight back on, man. Real talk. I used to weigh a good 225, solid muscle before July 29th. July 29th, goddamn, a nigga dropped down about 190. You know what I'm saying? I was stressing, bro. I lost a lot of money. I was homeless for a bit. You know what I'm saying? I had to pick up a second, third job. You know what I'm saying? I never really cleaned bathrooms in a long time. Didn't really clean my own, but shit, I had to go out here to these damn shopping malls and clean them damn bathrooms, man. People are so fucking nasty. That's just like me standing behind. I had to help clean up the blood off the canvas on July 29th. They paid me pretty good for it, but goddamn, I didn't know he fucked them up like that. Up later than I should be, you know, overnight work life. WCS popped up on my timeline. This Bud POV is very solid, so I toned in. Thanks for blessing me with your presence. I appreciate it. Jessica, what's going on, Queen? How you feeling, man? D-Ray, what's good? D-Ray live on the drive. Okay. All right. That has nothing to do with anything I'm talking about. By Spence delaying the rematch, they might not fight until June. That's not enough time to fight Canelo in September. What you think? They're not fighting in June, they're Graham. They're not fighting in June. We don't even have a fight date yet, bro. I don't think you've been listening to me. You know what I'm saying? This man has 8 weeks. Mathematically, it's very easy to assess the numbers. You know what I'm saying? We live in the numeric simulation each calendar year, bro. It consists of 12 months. And you take the days within that and you compare them to a fight count. This man has 8 weeks to recover. So let's just talk about February, March, okay? We don't know if those 8 weeks his odds going to be 100%. We're in March already. He has to get cleared. And then if they decide to come around, which the fight ain't happening, let's just say for play. You know what I'm saying? April, May. You know, Spence is going to need more time to get ready, bro. This fight may happen in Never Land. You get 8 weeks to see if the eye's okay. The eye ain't okay, and you got to put some more weeks on there. And then a minimal, if they just give them, think about this. They would have been out the ring over a year, right? We're talking about, you know, they heading up on a year in 2024 approaching. So He has to first get healthy enough. And you know, Spence like ballooning up in weight. So what the average 8-week training camp would be for some, it's not going to be that way for Spence, I don't think. Especially if he's been punching passports and eating that good food on the outskirts of the US of A. So they got to give him time to lose weight. And then the wild part about it is that we don't know if it's going to be at 154 or 147. But what I said, the fight ain't freaking happening. It's not too many people want to see this fight. They don't want to see it, bro. Because Crawford went in there and made it look like he was fighting a guy out the YMCA who's on his second day of membership. That's all I'm saying. I think based on Bud's last tweet, he has a legal way out. Time will tell. It ain't Bud releasing himself. It's the whole entire two fighters that's involved. And being that he had 30 days to enact a rematch clause, and I'm pretty sure both of these fighters have a certain time to fight. Now, when the news initially broke, they had to December, but that was broken. Why? Because Showtime didn't want to fuck with it. Showtime was on their way out the way. The divorce decree was on deck. The judge ruled, racked the gavel. Nope, Showtime is out the door at the end of freaking 23. Well, we did know that Showtime was the ones that was in charge of the financiers for Crawford Spence 1. So if they're no longer hosting, it was rumor mill that they was going to attempt in 2024 to host the fight, right? But like I said, they're not having no part in that. And there was people behind the scene waiting and waiting to try to see how they can, maneuver this entire situation, because this is still a big fight for certain people. Look, we might say it ain't a big fight because people shitting on it because of what Crawford did. Yes, indeed. But at a higher point, it's really not even, it's not other fights out there with other names that's bigger than this. Like that we know this on the horizon. It's not Better Be Bivol. You know what I'm saying? It's not Benavidez Morel. It's not. It's just not. It's not Tank Cruz, Tank Martin, Tank freaking Cepeda. It's not. It's not Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia. It's not Haney, nobody. It ain't T.O. anybody. What they want to see, really, they actually want to see can Spence come back and put on a better performance than he did July 29th. That's all they want. You know what I'm saying? They want to see if it's possible. Just let us know if it's possible. Because I know he's better. You know how you have that, you know what I'm saying? You have that itch, say, hey, man, I know he's better than that. I fuck with Spence, man. I've been fucking with him for a long time. I fuck with him. He's better than this, man. I just want him to have another opportunity. They get the mentality of a red shirt. They get that red shirt mentality. Man, just let him play. He's good. He's better than you think. Just let him back in. Come on, coach. Let him back in. They want to treat goddamn Spence like he's a walk-on, y'all. They want to give him another opportunity to perform the best of his ability, bro. I'm telling you. It's tough, man. It's tough. I told him. I tried to tell him, I say, I give that man 0% of beating Crawford. I know certain people was laughing their ass off and saying what they were saying. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I mean, we're not talking about broken hearts here. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about severed arteries and valves. We're talking about the valve that lead to the heart ripped. We're not talking about broken hearts. We're talking about severing the supply of oxygen and blood. It's much more severe than that. If Bud can get out of his contract, definitely needs to make Spence run it back at 147. It clearly wasn't a weight, right? No, we don't need to. Jessica, see, you gotta be careful, Jessica. This live stream has a lot of people tuned in. They really don't want to hear those three numbers that you just mentioned. Okay, be very careful. You mentioned 1, 4, and 7. 1, 4, 7 allows these individuals to go in a bit of a panic mode of anxiety, like a tirade. They lose their mind. You know what I'm saying? They start to then, keep going forward, hitting their head on the wall, slapping themselves, finding old screwdrivers and ramming it into their thighs. They start to harm themselves when you talk about 147. Because after all the shit they talk, they say the man was weight drained. So they don't want him to go back to 147. They know that fateful night in question, all the shit they talked about Crawford came to a head under the bright lights. It finally came to that climactic moment where Spence shut all they fucking mouth. Never in history I've seen a fighter beat up two unified fighters in the same fucking night, especially with his girl sitting there beside him. I never seen it. I never witnessed anything in that in my life, bro. I never seen some shit like that. How can you be having a sidebar and whooping up on his stablemate? He literally beat up an entire motherfucking gym in one fucking night, y'all. He beat up Diddy James, he beat up goddamn Errol Spence, and he beat up Jamel Charlo. He beat up the trainer who got an award for those two fighters being in his stable. He damn defeated the whole motherfucking stable, the entire furniture store. He beat up every employee that was in that furniture store, bro. Have you ever seen that in your life, in your boxing life? He beat up everybody in the building. He was the Black Reacher. Crawford beat up the trainer, the fighter, and the stablemate. The same people who got him awards all took an L that night. Can you understand where I'm going with this? Okay, got it. 504 was good. I don't think he took the. I mean, look, I've been on record as saying I give Spence's credit for getting off the canvas and showing courage. He did. Furthermore, with that credit, I'm applying, you know what I'm saying, to his ass whooping. It further debunks about the damn weight drain in his eye and shit, because every single time he got off the canvas and he was looking right at Harvey Dock. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the ramen noodles wasn't in the hot grease already. Them legs were a little loosey-goosey. You know what I'm saying? He was a little bit wobbly. You know what I'm saying? He had the damn roly Romero going on. But he got up each time and he looked at Harvey Dock. So debunking the weight drain, because weight drain would have said he would have been stopped on his back. No, Spence got up immediately. And Spence never been on record talking about he was weight drained. Most recently, the cataracts. He kept getting up and he kept moving forward in a direct line. That's cap. That's a lie. Ain't shit wrong with his eye. Ain't shit wrong with his eye in that night. He found Crawford up against the ropes. Wherever Crawford was at, he found him. He's a southpaw, right? Southpaw versus southpaw. What's your lead foot? What lead foot is it when you're a southpaw? What's your jab hand? Right or left, goddammit? I mean, they both southpaws, man. Man, the funny thing is that all his fans saying go back and look at the fight. He looked like he was in so much pain from his rib injury. Man, hey, Jessica, you tell them cowards to stop being little bitches and goddamn take that note for what it is. Stop writing teachers freaking notes and shit after you done skip school. Stop doing that shit. Tell them to stop doing that shit. All of a sudden, they're freaking doctors. Yeah. Well, I see he was in so much pain, but he kept getting his ass off the canvas, huh? How are you on your ass? How are you on your ass and you continue to spring up with a rib injury? Tell them cowards to stop that shit. You have to take responsibility. You always out here excoriating this man as much as you possibly can on the media, man. You didn't have nothing positive to say about Crawford. Man, you shot down every accomplishment he had in freaking welterweight. You said that Spence with the IBF title was the man. He damn near got beat by Sean Porter, and y'all sitting up here, oh, he's still the man, though. He beat him. He got the knockdown in 11. He got the knockdown in 11. And what puzzled me, for somebody who has knockdown in their freaking title, he was up there trying to prove to the, I got the receipt. He said that it was a right hook. I say, hey, I digress. I digress. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, if they up here talking about he was in so much pain, it was simply this, because Terrence Crawford was so accurate with his target precedence, so accurate that they never witnessed someone prepare like Crawford did to come in there and beat somebody as if he was actually that man, like that dude, like he was the best in the world. Crawford prepared. That separates the professionalism of a champion. That separates the barometer of the discipline that goes into preparing for a fight of that magnitude. And Diddy James and Spence didn't do it. They didn't prepare like Crawford was the best in the world, one of the most elite fighters of this era, pound for pound great. They didn't prepare for him like that. I'd rather punch a passport than schedule a doctor's appointment. I say shit, rather punch a passport than schedule a doctor's appointment. I gotta say that's some slick shit. You know what I'm saying? He'd rather punch a freaking passport than schedule a doctor's appointment. Damn. Samar said Bud is the new eye, rib, and bloody massacre collector. He made Errol the winner of the Crimson Shorts contest. Damn. And look, I don't even know if they have enough courage to make a Crimson Short contest. I think there should be more shorts out there, and it is. I done seen some good ones, you know. But at the end of the day, it was a massacre, and people are unable. They up here celebrating and eating because the fight being called off. But I'm gonna tell you, there's nobody that's on that list right there. They're out there celebrating eating. Because you just got to take a look at this. Who's ever made this guy, EJ, Errol Spence, Big Fish, all that you want to talk about? Who has ever did him dirty like this? Crawford took Errol Spence through a facial transformation. You know what I'm saying? Look, please don't take this shit personal. But when EJ went back to log into his phone and his main source of freaking verification was facial recognition, he put that motherfucking phone up to his face. Invalid. You only have 3 more opportunities before we lock you out for a total of 15 minutes. Please log in. Invalid. He put his phone up to his face for facial recognition, and the phone could not process it. Bro, seriously though, he tried to hold his phone up, you know, because his girl always goddamn trying to get in his phone and shit. He didn't say, I ain't fucking with no passwords. I ain't fucking with no goddamn freaking passwords or no passcodes. This nigga had facial recognition. He went back there and sat down a little bit. He said, where my phone at? I'm gonna put that phone up there. Invalid. Unrecognizable. Invalid. Resubmit. Invalid. He was pissed. He threw that butt down. Goddamn. I can't think about passcode. Anybody know about passcode, password? Shit, this motherfucker won't let me in with facial recognition. Man, I need to stop, man. Real talk. I gotta stop, dog. I have to stop. But Y'all know what it is, man. Shout out to News by Shot News Sauce Experience. What's good? What's good? Salute to you. Shout out to Team Tucker Official in the building, on deck, man. Y'all definitely go check out the News by Shaw News. Check him out, man. You know what I'm saying? Sub to the channel. Become a member. Support the brother. Toby said even AJ left the building after the July 29th massacre. Now Ben Davidson is getting all that Saudi money. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is what I don't like. Because from my understanding, AJ took him over there across the pond. And at that point in time, I thought it would be healthy for Crawford to leave Texas and go over there and get a different look. But at the end of the day, you can go over there and train and get a different look all you want. But if the big dogs don't want to fuck with the fight and invest any more money in it because they feel that you are broken up, this just goes to show you that it's a great possibility that Errol Spence may be retired for a minute. Maybe he need to pull a Teofimo Lopez and retire from the sport for a minute and get himself together and then come back. Because if he fights this year and he still has issues going on and he claimed to be going to 154, hey, somebody else is going to goddamn get their name. Somebody else is going to become famous. But not as famous as Bud Crawford. Somebody else is going to become famous now. See, I told y'all, I wanted Bud Crawford to put them 2 stoplights on his record. He already put 1 on there. I wanted to put him 1 more, goddammit. I hope they would have fought last year, but it didn't happen. But I definitely wanted them to fight again. I was hoping it would be at the beginning of this year, and it's not. Just like the PBC fight schedule isn't out. Done with the excuses. It's not Bud's job to get Spence 100% in that ring, and nobody is 100% in every fight. Reason Bud is pound for pound #1 because it's preparation and self-care as well. Talk that. What? Say, huh? Who? Well said. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you. Being the best means being the best in and out of the ring, and that man from Omaha stays in the gym. And see, that's all I was saying, man. Look, that's all I was saying. You have to understand, it's certain casual boxing fans don't think like that. What you just said, they don't think like that because you're talking about individuals that may not work out. Some of these cats don't have a history. They don't have an experience with maintaining proper nutrition, and they never had a fitness schedule. I'm not saying all of them are overweight. No, it's some that don't need to work out because they feel that they're good at the weight they at or whatever, genetically, and then also depending on the age. So it's some cats out here that's genetically gifted that can maintain a weight that they still fit their clothes and go out and feel comfortable. Then there's others who know they have weight issues and all they do is continue to go back to the same spot. Yes, can I have a 6-piece, please? 2 biscuits, let me see, give me 2 orders of mashed potatoes, corn on the cob, and let me see, give me a large fry with that too, and also a large Coke. Them cats. But just think about this. It's not like Bud go around here and don't have a cheat meal or 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he eats he has a cheat meal. Those of you who don't know a cheat meal, that means something that's outside of the normal diet range. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he has a cheat meal once a day, twice a day. He eats what he eats. He's rich. I mean, he's wealthy. He can eat that. But the whole point I'm making is his consistent, to be in the gym, to continue to go in there and improve his skill, to help others, is quite different than what Spence would do, because when he lost the fight, he hurried up and punched his passport out of Texas and went over there to Spain, I believe they say him and this girl was. He was in Spain. So he's like Blunt said, you know what I'm saying? He'd rather punch passports than freaking make an appointment. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he got the P's confused and punch and appointment. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He might be having problems with that. You know, his circles seem to be failing him. Real talk. UK Team Tucker official boxing business. Yes, sir. Couldn't unlock the phone and couldn't see the keyboard to put the code in. Hey, man. He couldn't remember no code after that beating. He couldn't remember shit. He just knew it was facial recognition. He fucked up. Invalid. Shout out to ITC Boxing to you. What's good with it? One love to my guy WCS in the chat. Got to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. 402, stand the F up. B&B is on a takeover. Yes, sir. I don't know what y'all taking over, man, because right now, it ain't no more taking, bro. It's no more taking when it comes to this fight. I know they have other fighters in there. I'm just saying. It's Bud took so much in the first fight. He can't even give any type of hope in a tweet. You know what I'm saying? He can't give any type of hope in a tweet. He can't do it. This is the only thing he can put out there. That's it. He can't give any hope in a tweet, bro. He said it's okay though because all in all, I'm glad it's over. What does over mean? Completed. I'm done with. He zips it up with over and done with. Over and done with. I'm done with is over. And he sent this out after I put that damn news out yesterday that this shit was fucking over. Do the business. Nobody wants to fuck with this fight. And they know Arrow was fucked up. And then this tweet comes out. Underestimate the connect if you want. It's all good. I put it out there. Hey. You know, if you want to donate, I mean, it's a minimal, 15 grand, 15 bands, goddammit. A minimal for me dropping that shit yesterday. Minimal, goddammit. Minimal. I got to get paid 15 bands. I'm trying to punch my passport too. And I hope to see Arrow out there. You know what I'm saying? Because he said the first 3 months, but I want to see if he still got the itch. Hey, EJ. I see that face went down, dog. Hey, hold up, man. Calm down. Why you rushing over here like that? You vulnerable? Nigga, you vulnerable? Are you vulnerable, nigga? You goddamn still mad? Let me tell you this right here. I know you're an elite boxer and all that. I know you've been to the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? But check this out, bro. Don't waste your money out here trying to beat up average freaking consumers of the sport. What I want you to do is save that energy. Take it out on Diddy James first and foremost. Because that's who needs the motherfucking beating. Your trainer. Okay? You need to go in there and goddamn dust him off real quick for slapping you in the head with the mitt, first and foremost. All right? Just do it out of nowhere. Don't even give him no warning. Swing on him. Boom. Don't give him no warning. Then leave him and get another trainer. That's all. But first of all, you need to address that shit. Get another trainer that's going to motivate you enough to go back in there and really change the game to give Terrence Crawford much more of a competitive challenge. That's what we want you to do. We don't want all that other shit. You out here trying to knock out motherfucking civilians, people that haven't boxed in their life, corporate America, blue collar workers, all this shit. We don't want you going to Walmart, becoming, a viral just by running owl to owl, slapping people. No, don't act like you have lost it. You only have one loss, bro. You're 28-1. Have some dignity. That's all I'm saying. Have some dignity. True Media Boxing Radio, what's good? Salute. Yeah, that picture looks bad, man, and it says a lot. It says a lot. It says a lot. It says a lot. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? They can blame who they want to blame on that night. But this man is getting off his ass. Not only is he getting off his ass, but his feet is not even there to support him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would think somebody that was leaning back, as Fat Joe would say, and weight drain, I don't think they would have been able to make it out of this position as quickly as Spence did. Spence, both of his heels on the left and right rear part of his feet are elevated. They are reclined. Who did that? Crawford. Shout out to Carlos Rosado on deck, man. What's good with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up. Hey, man, I'm going to leave y'all with this right here. Legendary. If y'all watch TV, The Deadliest Catch, that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? Crawford pulled up with the fishing net. And I fucked with The Deadliest Catch when it came on. I wouldn't be on that motherfucking show. Ain't no way. But it was legendary that night, July 29th. Real talk, it was legendary. You have M standing over there to the side. You have Crawford. You have the cameras rolling. And this was one of the biggest fights of the year, man. It's legendary shit to come in there with a fishing net. Come on, bro. You see how both fighters, how they attempted to pretty much send a message to the next. Like, if you look at Errol Spence having his mouthpiece made, he had one with a shark supposedly on it and an eye, okay? Because they was boosting his head up that he was an eye collector. And then you look at Crawford coming in here with fishnets on draped off his shoulder and on his shorts and on his shoes. You know what I'm saying? And both of them were sending a message on what their intentions was once they split the ropes from the opening bell. But only one of those fighters will come out victorious, man. And we already know who that was. He caught the fish. The man that called him the big fish. The man that was bragging about big fish. Terrence cut that mother, filleted it, cooked it, you know what I'm saying, and served it up to the community. That's all we need to know. Man, y'all continue to support the channel. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You got.
No, I had to stop that for a second now. I got to get these chats, man. Shout out to the super chat connoisseurs. I appreciate y'all for donating to the channel. Arnold Brown, salute and one love to your brother for the $25 super chat. Much appreciated, my brother. Thanks for supporting the channel. Shout out to my brother, Mr. Gumbo, with the $50 super chat. I appreciate you, Gumbo. Always, you already know what it is, brother. Thank y'all two brothers for supporting the channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm still out here grinding. Even though my channel was reported, I still keep on grinding because I got the hottest chat in the game. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, man. Thank you two brothers for supporting the channel. And we should do it again. I'm out. Peace.
Bomb Squad!